You've probably used MyON in your classroom, but may have found yourself frustrated by the lack of accountability to make sure they're actually reading. So today we're going to talk about how to use projects. When you first log in, you can see all kinds of things on your screen. You can see how many pages a student has gone through from that screen, but not necessarily how well they've understood. So instead I'm going to go to my classroom, my project screen, and select to create a new project. I'm going to set up a project for a nonfiction unit on learning about careers. And then you can add a description, that's optional. I'm going to go ahead and add one here about what I want to do and why. And I'm doing that because I'm going to make this available to other teachers to use if they want to. So it's a good way to share with your colleagues. So you can select that box to share it, and I'm going to say it's probably good for kindergarten to second graders. Then I can set a due date for my own students. Say, I want you to complete this within the next few weeks. So now I have some options of what to do. I can add a reading task, which I'm going to go ahead and do, and I'm going to give it a title, something about exploring careers. You can add your task objectives in there to be specific for the students. This is something they will see, so you can let them know what you want to do. We'll come back to that later. And then I'm going to look for some books that would be useful for that. And the first thing I want to do is select that it's going to be nonfiction. I can then decide on Lexile score, or I can just go ahead and select it by grade level, which is what I'm going to do. And you can also do language options if you have a lot of bilingual students in your class. But I'm going to just stick with language. I'm going to make it a short reading. I don't want it to be too long. And again, you can select audio or not if you have struggling readers that might benefit from that. You can use the find books option, but honestly, it's not a great search function, so you might not find things that you want using it. So I just went ahead and did a general search for nonfiction in that grade range, and I got a ton of responses, but scrolling through, you'll see there are a lot of series that work especially well for nonfiction. So I found this series that if I were. So I'm going to select all of these books in the series, and then I'm going to scroll a little bit more to see if there's anything else that might be useful. And I came across this series, A Day in the Life of. So that gives a fair number of options for students to find something that they're interested in. You don't have to select books. You can leave that open to them to go and find what they want, but this helps give you a little bit more structure and control to make sure they're choosing something appropriate. So now I have my list of books there. If I ever want to change it, add to it, I can go back and do that. The default is to make them read all of the books to complete it. You probably don't want to do that, so I switched it to just read one book. And again, I can go back in and change things later by managing the books. When I'm all done, I can close out, and there it is. And again, I can go back into that wheel if I want to change something later. So the other options, I can do a general purpose task. So if you want them to do something off the computer, that would be good to describe, draw a picture. You can also do a writing task or Lexile scores as well if you want them to retest after doing this. The writing task will allow you to put in a prompt. You can put in a word goal if you want to, for how many words you want them to write. You can also suggest how long you want them to write instead of doing a word goal. So this would give them a chance to write something in response. But I find that, so I'll go ahead and do an example. I might tell them I want them to write me a summary and give me at least 2 facts that they found that were interesting from their reading. So when I'm done, I can just close out of it. It'll have saved it. But one of the really neat features is this graphic organizer tool. They have a lot of templates in here for everything from kind of cause and effect to vocabulary to word mapping. We're going to stick with a KWL chart. And again, I'll give it a title, something about what did you want to know about the career, and then you can write in the objective to describe for students exactly what to do. So you'll notice that everything I opened is over here. It automatically saves it. So if you open up something out of curiosity, you have to make sure you go in and delete it afterwards. Otherwise, it'll be part of the assignment. So you just use the trash can to delete anything you want. Right now, I'm left with just the reading and the graphic organizer. So again, I can go in to edit anything I want. I went back in and decided I wanted to add an objective to describe to students that I want them to pick a book that they want to read from the list. And then I want them to go and complete the know and the want to know sections of the KWL chart, and that they're going to go back and finish it after they're done reading. So this is a cool way that you can make sure that students are staying on task and completing a product in addition to actually just going on and reading. So it doesn't just become a filler or a time waster during stations, but a meaningful piece of work that makes them practice good reading strategies. So what I'm doing now is going to assign my students. I went back to the projects page, I clicked on assign. I don't have any students populating my class, but you should see yours all there if you go to your roster, and you can then assign it out. Or if you just want to assign to specific students, you have the ability to individualize, which is pretty awesome.